Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you. My questions to the Prime Minister. Today I met with Captain Jason Skanes and Lieutenant Colonel Damien Hick, decorated Afghanistan veterans. They're sitting in the third row of the gallery. For 5 years, Captain Skanes has tried to secure a visa for his Afghan interpreter who served with the Australian Army. These interpreters wore Australian uniforms, helped keep our diggers safe at great risk to themselves. Some have been murdered since. When au pairs can get visas in a matter of hours, why can't Captain Skanes even get a meeting with the Minister for Home Affairs?
The Minister for Home Affairs has the call.
Mr Speaker, I thank the honourable Leader of the Opposition for his question. The reality, Mr Speaker, is that this government has granted many hundreds of visas to people who have helped out, almost 1,000 in fact, Mr Speaker, to people that have helped out the Allied forces in the Middle East in theatres such as Afghanistan or Iraq. There are many interpreters and others whom we have been able to help, and we have been able to settle those people here. Mr Speaker, I have not intervened in cases where there is advice to me, not advice that I can go into publicly, but advice that is received to me from the intelligence agencies in relation to particular cases or individuals. I will not act against the national interests or against the national security interests of this country. My office has met with Mr Skanes. I'm happy to meet with him, but we've made it very clear in relation to this particular case, and I don't know whether the Leader of the Opposition has sought any sort of briefing on this matter. I don't know whether the Opposition Leader's received a briefing on this important national security matter before he's raised it in this place, but there are always significant equities.
Leader of the Opposition.
There are threats to our country.
The Minister will just pause for a second. I'm trying to listen to the Minister's answer. The Deputy Leader of the Opposition, the member for McEwen, the member for Barker and others are making that impossible. I'm going to assure members I'm going to hear the Minister's answer, and if that requires me ejecting them, I will. The member for Sydney and the member for McEwen are warned. You were interjecting earlier. We can get a video replay if you really need it. The Minister has the call.
So, Mr Speaker, I assume that the Leader of the Opposition has not had such a briefing. I'm happy to arrange such a briefing and for him to be provided with as much information as is possible. But I can tell you, Mr Speaker, the government is proud, particularly through the advice of the ADF and some of our international partners, to help settle people who are worthy of support in our country. But to finish on this note, there are some cases where I receive advice from the intelligence agencies. In those cases, acting in the national interest of our country, I will not issue that visa.